welcome to Everyday Reset. I am your host, Jessica Bowen, and with me today, we're going to be talking to a firefighter friend of mine, ex sellout neighbor. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. And his name is Lorne Brown. Lorne, thank you so much for being here today. Are you excited to be here?
Very.
You look thrilled. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to talk a little bit about maybe some of your background. So, what initially drew you to firefighting?
Uh, Honestly, I just jumped right into it. Um, I had a completely different idea of life prior to all this, and then a friend of mine had no idea what he was doing in life. He was actually signed up for the Air Force, and then while he was signed up, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to do firefighting there and this and that." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." And then he wasn't guaranteed a job when he got out, so he cleared that and he got out of that, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to go do EMT," and I'm like, "What's EMT?" He's explained it to me, and I was like, oh, it's kind of along the lines of what I wanted to do prior to this was I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
So jumped into school with him and just followed it through, and here I am 22 years later.
And you're only like 30 years old. This is amazing. Can you remember your first day on the job?
The only thing I remember from my first day on the job was walking into the station with all my stuff, and a call came in, and immediately I had to run onto the truck. And I jumped into the back, and we're going on a call, and I was like, "Hey guys, I'm new here," and they're like, "Okay, buckle in, here we go."
Very
So
cool. Were there any like unexpected surprises?
no, because where I got hired in Margate, I did most of my what we call rides through school there. So I kind of knew all the people from riding there during school. So I got
Oh, so
hired on the same shift as
so
them.
when you were in high school, it was kind
Yep.
of like an OJT, or no, when you were in firefighter school or EMT school.
EMT/paramedic, you do rides with fire departments.
Okay.
So you do like a 12-hour day with them. So you go on the calls and you do whatever you're able to do, based on your schooling,
Mhm.
and you ride for the day with them. So
What school did you go to? High school.
well, for high school, Stranahan.
Did Stranahan offer, because I went to Western, and I know that Western had like OJT courses where a lot of kids went to firefighting school or police something, PAL, I think it was PAL, like police a training league. And then like some of the girls I knew went to like a nursing program. Did they offer that for you in school? Is that why you kind of wanted to be a nurse? I mean, a doctor? Like,
No, I loved like blood and guts and all the gory stuff. That's what kind of drew me to being a doctor,
okay.
and that's why I went to Stranahan, because it was a magnet program. And I believe we were the second year class that did that at Stranahan, where,
Hmm.
they take one of your electives and they give you a medical class. So
Okay.
I did that. And then after high school, I didn't want to do that anymore. So I jumped out and went to college for electronic engineering because I loved messing with electronics. And then when I finished that, finished about 2 years or so, my friend jumped into EMT. So I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. So
Hmm.
that's why I jumped over and went with him.
That's cool. So, what is one thing that people may not realize, or maybe you didn't realize about being a firefighter?
I didn't know we got paid.
Really?
Honestly,
You-
I didn't have anybody to tell me anything about the service at all. It was
okay.
just me and my friend, and just going along for the ride. And nobody told us that, the amount of money you get paid, the years that you work, or anything like that. I just loved the job of going on calls, seeing all the different things that we see out there, whether it's, trauma, medical, craziness. I just loved all that stuff. That when I first got hired, they were like, okay, you're going to get paid this certain amount. And I was like, oh, wow, we get paid? And then also, we have a contract, and within the contract, you get, certain things throughout the years. And I was like, this is all cool. I didn't know we had all this.
Bonus cha-ching. All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, firefighters are known for a couple of things. Let's not state the obvious that they're known for being firefighters, but firefighters are known for cooking up really great meals at the station and for being on calendars. So which one are you?
Definitely not a calendar guy.
Hmm.
And I found out to be on the calendar, because we had a guy trying to do that, you have to write some type of essay, and I hate writing essays. So I was already like, well, that's one thing I can't do. So not doing that. But
So are
cooking,
you
yeah,
okay?
cooking, it depends. If we have people that can't cook for shit, and then we
Okay.
have other guys that are like amazing at cooking. So,
Which one are you?
but I'm in the middle. I don't have like extravagant dishes, but I can cook some good things.
I
But
remember a carrot cake that you made with parchment paper.
oh yeah, you got to leave the parchment paper in the cake. I found that out.
Yeah, yeah, that's key. That's how you keep it moist. So,
Yeah.
what is your what's your specialty at the fire station?
For cooking, I don't cook a lot.
No, for
Because I'm
being on the
doing.
calendar that you're not on. Yes, for
I
cooking.
do I do other things, but I made one of my like dishes I like doing at home that I made for the guys the other day is a buffalo chicken spaghetti squash.
Oh, buffalo chicken and
And
spaghetti squash.
yeah, and it
That
came
sounds
out
good.
really good, and they loved it, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm
Oh,
done for the
that's
day.
pretty cool. And I'm out. All right.
That's it.
So, have you ever had a call that started out serious but ended up being more comical than expected?
Oh my god, we have so many. Um, we and the thing with firefighters that people don't know is the humor that we use to cover the stress that we run through.
Okay.
You can have such a shitty call where you have somebody that dies, but right after we just go about our business and we're already laughing and joking, about other things, but it's a
Mhm.
way for us to help with the stress.
Okay.
But yeah, we've had a lot of calls where that are very stressful, and then after we start joking around with each other and kind of picking on each other and how we messed up on something, and just to kind of ease the stress of the call, and kind of to forget about it.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So, what would be the weirdest or the funniest situation that you've ever been called to?
The most famous one
Uh huh.
is, if I can say it, the crack pipe in the vagina.
Oh my God. All right, you got to tell us this one. Go ahead.
Everybody loves this story.
Great.
I think I was like maybe like 4 or 5 years on. We had a rookie with us, and one of our other lieutenants at the time. This was when I was just a firefighter. I wasn't a lieutenant at the time, but the lieutenant was this type of guy who's, I mean, the shit can hit the fan, and he's just very, very easy. Nothing bothers him. He just has this same face no matter what happens. The end of the world is coming. He's just like, whatever. So we're on the rescue. The engine gets a call for a fire alarm. So they go out. It's like 3 in the morning or something. So they go out. We continue sleeping. Next thing we know, we get called out to the same place to help with the fire alarm. And we're like, why are they calling us out for a fire alarm? They can handle this.
Hmm.
So whatever. We go. Like, we're tired. I was driving the rescue. We pull up. The lieutenant and the rookie get out. They start walking. I'm like trying to park the truck and do some things and make sure the truck's safe. And then I'm like, where the hell they go? And cops are on scene, and it's like 20 something people. I'm like, what is going on? And it's an apartment complex. So I get out. I start walking over there. They're up on the second floor. As I walk up, there's a circle of guys, of cops and firefighters, just standing around a butt naked girl in handcuffs.
Okay.
And I'm like, so I go to the lieutenant. I'm like, what's going on? Why are we standing here? And he's like, she has a crack pipe. And I'm like, okay, isn't that like a PD matter? Like, that's drugs. They confiscate that. That's them. And he's like, it's in her vagina. And I was like, he's like, yeah, we got to get it out. And I'm like, looking at the rookie. I'm like, well, the rookie's, it's his job. He's the younger guy, but he's like furthest away. Then you got my lieutenant. Then it's me closest to the naked girl. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll take it.
Rocks, paper,
So the
scissors. No.
cops, the cops basically just spread her legs, and I take it out. And as I take it out, just and just put it down.
Ew, Lord.
I'm just kidding. I did not do that,
Thank God. Okay.
but I love it. It gets people.
Oh, that was hilarious. I'll have to tell you a joke about mackerel and 2 pounds after we get off the phone or off the call, but that's what that reminded me of, and that was awesome. Um,
So all we did, what it was is she was on some type of drug and she was going around pulling all the fire alarms in the place.
oh my God. But was she trying to draw attention to herself? Like, I don't understand. She was just out,
I
out of it,
just when she was out of it, when you're on whatever she was on, she had no idea where she was, what she was doing.
obviously.
Just, but it was a good Friday nighter.
Oh, that's
So
amazing. That's amazing. So, okay, so when you I know you have two kids, and
mhm.
do your kids think of you as a superhero, or are you just dad with the eyes rolling and whatever?
Sometimes they kind of bring it up on how cool it is to be a firefighter. But I've never really been called like a hero or a superhero or anything by them. They just think
Oh,
it's cool sometimes.
does Liam, do either one of them have any, I can't just say Liam, but do either one of the kids have any aspirations to be a firefighter as well?
They're too young right now.
No, they're
He
not.
he's in his soccer phase where he just wants to be, a soccer player. She keeps finding ways of finding a job that has nothing to do with math. She keeps asking. She goes, does your job have a lot to do with math? I said, well, sometimes because we gotta calculate drugs in our head, and there's a lot of numbers, so there's some math involved. And she goes, okay, I don't want to do that. And she's like, what about being a vet? I said, well, kind of the same thing. You got drugs you got to draw up and this and that. And she's, what about a lawyer? I said, no, they don't really have to do with anything with math. She goes, okay, that's what I want to be. I said, well, you'll be good at it because you love to argue.
She would be good at that. So, what's it
So
like balancing the demands of firefighting with family life? Like, any tips to manage the unpredictability? Like, I know that a lot of firefighter wives, they complain because when their husbands are on duty, that's usually when chaos ensues at the house.
oh,
So,
that's when the kids always get hurt. They're always
yeah.
on her watch, not my watch.
So
So
what
far,
it
my son has been to the hospital probably like 5 times on her watch and zero on mine.
so so what's it like then balancing the demands of of firefighting with your family?
It's something you work around, I mean, I did it. When did I have the kids? When I was 31 was the first one, and I was 24. So 7 years prior to that. So we already kind of had our life situated and, set on our days and everything.
Hmm.
But once you have the kids, you just got to move things around and and work on it. Like now, I was teaching for the last 3 years, and I had to quit because now my son's soccer is now 3 days of practice. So instead of putting everything on her, I now helping out a lot more. So I had to quit teaching in order to do that. But
Okay.
you get used to the 24-hour on and 48 hours off for what I have. But there are other departments where you're 24 on and 72 off, or you're 3 days off. So
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's probably a little bit easier on families being that amount of off.
I mean, it sounds like it, and and what I always found was that a lot of firefighters have, they find things to do on the downtimes, like on their off days, like they become real estate agents, or
Yeah.
like you were saying, teaching, or you did windows or something for a beat, like
For a little bit,
yeah.
I helped the guy out with pressure washing for 2 years. He had his own job at a guy that I worked with, and did that for 2 years with him. And then I taught for 6 years from 2010 to 2016. Then I quit that for a while, and then I got back into teaching 3 years ago, and then just recently quit that again because of scheduling. But
So
yeah, we do, since we have all this time off, instead of sitting around, you do have a lot of firefighters that get second jobs or even third jobs.
mhm. And I think sometimes it's important to do that just to keep yourself sharp, because if not, you're just playing
Yeah.
video games and pissing off your wife. So,
Well, no, the wife gives you the honey-do list, so on your days off, you're building the house.
Yes, yes, that is very true. So, if you could, well, let me ask you this first: are you still doing the different challenges and the different competitions and things of that nature?
No, no, I did the competition stuff for 13 years. Um, it just it got in the way with family life doing that because we would travel a lot. I would travel almost like 4 times a year, for 3 to 5 days. There was a couple years where we got to travel for a week. We traveled across to Poland, Prague,
Hmm.
and we did a competition there
I feel like
twice.
we knew each other when that happened, right? I feel like I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was 2015 and 2017. We went to Prague for a competition,
yeah, I
but
remember that.
it was also just all the studying and the practicing that we had to do on our days off that it just got very stressful. So after a while, we're just like, all right, we went out on top, and I did that for a while, and then I help out here and there with the students. We have
Hmm.
student teams that do that. Guys at work that do it. So I help them, talk to them a while, give them pointers of what we used to do and why we became so good.
That's cool. This is how we do it. We're little kids. Sit around, let
Well,
grandpa
we
tell you all
actually
about it.
we we did set a lot of rules in the competition, camaraderie, because we learned tricks, and we improvised a lot of things
Hmm.
that would help us during the competitions that were not in the rules. And as we were winning competitions, all these people that would create these rules said, okay, well, no more doing that because we were winning.
Yeah,
And then we would do something else, and they said, okay, no more of that. And we're like, okay, well, you can take all this stuff away, but we're still going to
we're
win.
still gonna win. So sorry. So if you could go back and give yourself advice on your first day as a firefighter, what would it be?
Wherever you're going to want to get hired, look into the contracts
Oh, good,
of
good tip.
retirement, because that was one thing nobody told me about was retirement.
Okay.
I had no idea that within the city of Margate that we have the FRS, which is the Florida Retirement System, um, which is great because it takes care of you for the rest of your life.
That's pretty
And I
sweet.
had no idea about anything of when I'm going in. I just signed a piece of paper and said, "Oh yeah, I just want to do the job."
Well, yeah, because you didn't even think you
Um,
were getting paid. So everything after that is just a
exactly.
bonus.
It was when I got the
So,
first check. I was like, "This is what I make." I was like, "Wow, this is." It was 3 times more than what I was making at my little job from before. So it was exciting.
so what keeps you passionate about it after all these years?
Um, the pretty much your crew, being with a
Mm,
good crew, really makes your day fun. It doesn't matter what type of calls come in. It could be running 24/7 or 24 hours out of the day. It doesn't matter as long as you have a good crew that you have fun with and hang out and just enjoy each other. It makes your day so much better.
that's sweet. That's nice. All right. Well, do you have a bucket list for your career or for your personal life? Something that you hope to accomplish in the future?
Well, I'm studying for the captain's test right now. That's coming up in November, so that's my next bucket list, um, and hopefully finish out my career doing that.
Oh,
Um,
finish out what? I'm sorry, you cut out for a second. The service just.
finish out my career. I got 5 more years before I retire in our system, and then I can still work for another 5 years. So technically, I got 10 more years. So being 10 more years as the captain would would be where I would finish in my career.
That would be fantastic. I hope that for you.
There you go. Yeah,
I,
studying every day for this
of
test.
course.
It's
Of course.
stressful. Personal
So,
wise, I
yeah,
don't know. Still young, so I don't know what we're doing. I don't have a huge bucket list of things to do.
nothing you and Kim talk about? Like, oh,
Just
what are we
where
going to do?
just kind of once we retire, we just want to live someplace that's quiet and relaxful and has some place that's fun. Not
I'm
here
sorry.
in this
I was going
craziness of South Florida.
I was going to say, didn't you just move? Do you still consider yourself in South Florida? Because it's like an hour to get
Yes,
to you. It's ridiculous.
it's still South Florida.
All right. You call it
We
what
want
you
to
want.
we want to we want to get out of here. Someplace where it's a little bit colder but no snow.
Yeah, we've been kind of talking about the same. We're giving ourselves 4 more years, getting Callie out of high school. So,
Yeah.
what's something about Lorne Brown that would surprise people? Any hidden talents, any quirky hobbies? I mean, I know some of them, I like to think, but what would you, if surprise me, Lauren?
Uh, no, I don't have anything surprising. I am who I am. I show pretty much everything.
He's an iguana catching son of a bitch. He'll catch a duck
Yeah.
flying midair, and if there's an
That one.
iguana in your backyard, guaranteed he's going to catch it. And then he'll
Oh
show it
yeah.
to you and show it to the kids.
Well, that large
You
one
want
that
to
I
play with
caught
my
still
lizard?
amazes me. Like that thing was like this big. It was huge.
It was
And then
huge.
the duck flying through the air was one of those moments that I'm still like, how did that even happen? Where we're
Oh.
all just standing there in the street watching the kids play, and I just see this duck flying. I'm like, that duck is low flying, and I just reached up and literally grabbed the duck midair, and
Yes.
everybody's like,
What the hell just happened?
everybody's like, what?
What?
And I'm holding it. Next thing you know, I'm holding a duck.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that'll never happen again.
I mean, never say never. You never know. So, if you weren't a firefighter, what do you think you'd be doing?
Uh, One of my other dream jobs would have been like a fighter pilot. Just
Hmm, okay.
it was one of those just exciting jobs that back in the day that I was like, oh, that looks cool. That or a helicopter pilot, anything in the military. But of course, you would have to go to the military to do all that.
Hmm.
And but that was something I always kind of wanted to do.
Are you still flying drones?
No, that kind of stopped for a while with COVID and everything, and just never got back into it.
Because I thought you were going to look into doing some sort of drone like investigation for people.
Everybody jumped on that bandwagon real quick with all the drones, and then you had to go get like your pilot's license of some sort to fly the drones commercially
Mm.
if you wanted to do a job or whatever. And I just never did it.
So it's just to kind of we're going to start wrapping things up because I know I've kept you on here for a long time and you have
Not doing
studying to
anything.
do. Um, what would you define as success?
Oh, then you cut out.
Oh, I'm sorry. What would you define as success? Like, what to you have you like when you were a kid? Did you look at success differently than maybe you do now?
Well, success now is just moving up in the ranks in the department.
Hmm.
Coming in as a firefighter, and then you have people telling you, hey, the next thing to do is become a lieutenant. So I did, and then now the next thing is become a captain. So to me, success is just keeping moving forward and just doing things that you love doing. And every time you accomplish that, that's success right there.
Hmm.
You
Hitting your
know,
goals, your own personal goals.
yeah, just doing that, and not losing your job. That's success.
Well, sometimes
Can't,
losing your
can't,
job can lead into something even better. So,
it can,
I
it
mean,
can, and it does, but yeah, just that, just keeping moving forward and accomplishing things that you want to do. That's to me a success right there.
do you have like a mantra or do you believe in manifestations and things like of that nature where every day you wake up and you're like, this is how I'm going to think, this is how I'm going to plan my day? Like, do you have something of that nature?
No, I just get up and go. whatever
No coffee?
whatever happens. Well, no, I have coffee, but whatever happens through the day. I don't worry about the future too much. I don't worry about the past. I'm not that type of person where I worry,
Hmm.
because you can't do anything that you can't control.
You can't stress over things you can't control.
Yeah.
I get that.
So I don't worry about it. If it happens, it happens, and if the shit hits the fan, just take care of it, and then afterwards just be like, all right, that happened.
Okay. And what did we learn from this? Yeah. Oh, you still there?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
still here.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. No, I think that it's great, and I loved that you shared your story. So thank you very much for sharing your story. And I think it's cool that you had a plan right from the start and you stuck with it and you're excelling at it and you are successful at what you do. And I've always admired that in you. I think that you've always had a great head on your shoulders. You've always been like the right kind of person. And I truly say this, like you guys are family. When you were here, especially, it was like always having a brother right next door or like a best friend right next door, because now that you're not here, it's like I have nobody to lean on if something breaks. My husband doesn't fix anything. And I'm like, I can't call Brown. He's too damn far away. But
Yeah,
no, you've
we do miss you guys in the neighborhood, and that great family that we created
mhm.
there for however long we had it. You know.
It's a very rare thing to find in neighbors anymore. I mean, I'm just speaking on behalf of myself. I have neighbors. It's not like I'm living out here in the middle of nowhere, but they're not you guys. And having you in our lives was just a huge positive light for us, and we truly miss having you guys around. And you especially, you know how I feel. I think you're amazing, and I've always just admired you and loved you. You guys are great, and I thank you just for doing this. I know this couldn't have been
Yeah.
easy for you.
I thought about it. I pretty much at first I was like, no, fuck her. But then I was like, nah, it's Jessica.
You know what? Fuck you. Time to go. And that, my friends, is how we end a podcast. Um,
Yes.
no, it's whatever. Fuck you too. Fine, whatever. I'll just go cry and hug myself in the shower. It's okay. Um, anyway, well, listen, I wish you the best. Keep me updated on whether or not you make captain.
I
Thank you
will.
again for coming on the podcast, and I will make sure to edit all of this. We'll try and clean it up as much as I possibly can, and add some cool intro and outro music, and then feel free to share it with whomever. In fact,
Okay.
share it with whomever. And for anybody that's listening, to the one person that's listening, if you want to be a firefighter, um, you get paid.
You get paid. You know,
And
I do have to say though, for anybody that kind of wants to get into this profession, is don't get into it because you're forced into it. Get into it because you want to do it.
Mhm.
Because we do see a lot of new people coming out that just it's not what it used to be. You know, we don't see a lot of people with the love for the and the passion for the job. They're looking
No,
at it more of a it's just a job now. You know.
I think they're looking at it more like, especially the younger kids, get paid more to work less, and then when
Yeah.
they realize that it's an actual job, like you're going out there, you're putting your life on the line, or you're putting other people. More importantly, you're putting other people's lives on the line, because you're part paramedics and part firefighters. So you're kind of first on the scene for a lot of stuff, and you have to have a stomach for that, and you have to be
Yeah, you
wanting to
do.
be there. You have to want to be there. It's
Yeah.
not just
All
a
I can say
paycheck.
is that if you want it and it's something that you've always wanted, it's a lot of studying. It's a lot of time away from your friends and family.
Mhm.
Um, because when I was teaching EMT, it's 4 months, and they look at it as like, oh, it's only 4 months. It's going to be easy, but it's literally every day, every chance that you have of free time, you're studying.
Mhm.
It's just what it is, because there's so much information that we have to give out to save somebody's life. You better be prepared and know your information, because you definitely don't want to get on scene where you have somebody that's dead and you have to do CPR, and you're like, oh, I always copied off the other guy, and then you look over and it's just you.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? So, you
Yeah.
know, study, 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 push yourself through all the limits that are going to push against you, and just continue and succeed at it. You know,
Put your heart into it,
that's it.
because it's more
Heart
than
and
just a
soul.
job. It becomes who you
That's
are. A lot of you firefighters who take it, it is a personality. Like, it becomes you as a person. You become the firefighter, or the firefighter becomes you. It's not just you becoming a firefighter. Because if not, then you are just looking at it like a job, I think.
yeah.
And you're missing out on pivotal moments for your family too. It's like you said, you miss out on time with your friends, your family. Like your schedule is pretty much locked in for the year, right?
For I can see what my schedule is for the next 2 3 years and on. I know what days I'm working,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a rotating schedule. So there are times where you're going to work all the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you work on Christmas, you work on Thanksgiving, you know, you work all those major holidays that you spend with your families, and but you get to spend it with your other family, you know, at the station.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yay. Well, that was good. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
All right. Well, I'm going to, you can stay on if you want, but I'm going to sign off on the recording. And for all of you out there listening, or even that one person that's out there listening, like the podcast, whether you did or you didn't, subscribe so that we can continue to do this and so that you don't miss any episodes. And share if you have a friend that's looking to be a firefighter, if you're looking to be a firefighter, just feel free to share the episode. Leave me any comments. If you have questions for Lorne, I'll be happy to get them over to him and I'll try to answer them. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, at Everyday Reset Podcast, and also Instagram. And thank you again. I hope you all have a great afternoon.